All right. What's up, you guys? We are back once again with the Ill Behavior. This is the Ill Bill, and welcome to the Chill with Bill show. Hey, trigger warning. This one is probably going to trigger some people, and to be completely honest, I do not care, okay? This is 100% the problem in the world. Everybody gets so damn butthurt, all up in their feelings, and everybody just thinks they have a right to everything, and that, you know, oh, my feelings matter over everything, and blah, 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 blah. So look, Steven Crowder, I love this guy. I'm sorry about all the shit that he's been through recently, you know, with his wife and putting their business out. Like, yo, when did it become okay to just put all your shit on the internet, man? I just don't understand it. Like, not even that long ago, like 20 years ago, you used to be able to say whatever. You used to be able to, like, you know, we could talk shit about each other. You know what I mean? Now everybody was all up in their feelings. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Let me get this light going. Y'all can't even see me. Bet. I don't know what's better. Y'all probably like the dark mode, so you don't have to look at my face, huh? Hold on. Let's just kick this down. Okay. Anyways, look. Steven Crowder, heated. Are white people too fragile? I personally think black folks are getting to be too damn fragile. Like, I don't hear this shit about, like, through, like, the Hispanic community. I don't really hear this. I mean, about some Asian community members, I hear them talk like this. But in general, I'm only hearing black folks talk like this nowadays, man. And it's sad. It's sad. When did we become such bitches, man? Like, no offense, but, like, we used to have to take it. Black folks, you know what I mean? We have to grin and bear it and just be out there, like, with the bootstraps getting it. And now it's like we just been raised by just, like, a whole society of just bitches, man. Like, we can't take nothing. Everything's systemic. Everything's racist. Everything's this. Everything. We'll cry me a fucking river, man. Like I said, trigger warning. This ain't going. Some of y'all gonna trip, okay? But this kind of goes back to the last video I did about the whole military thing, man. We are just raising and guiding a society full of just I'm triggered. My feelings matter more than reality, and it is incredible how sensitive people are getting. Let's do this.
On white people, and that's a lot of things with, like, racism.
Man, yeah, that's
division.
Welcome back for part 2 of the newest series, Black and White on the Gray Issues.
Last
time we took the streets to see if relations between black and white Americans were actually as bad as legacy media would have you believe. And what do you know? The narrative couldn't be further from the truth. Turns out you can actually find some common ground and have great dialogues when you actually start talking with people. That being said, I'd be lying if I said it was entirely smooth sailing. If you talk to enough people, you will eventually find an outlier, and this was an outlier, which took place in our final interview of the day. Now, without spoiling too much, see if you can tell how this particular conversation went differently.
Are the reason
we would still be slaves if it was for you, baby.
All right, just for a second. That seemed...
Look, before he even gets into it, yo, when did it become okay to be blatantly racist towards white people? I don't understand. What the hell, man? Like, I hear black folks, not even black folks. Like, I hear people who claim to be black who are way more light-skinned than me, you know what I mean, up in here, right? Who can pass for white, speak so disrespectful and so racist to white folks. Like, when did it become okay to do that? I don't understand. I thought racism was racism. Like I've heard people say that black folks can't be racist. Like, what? What the hell are you talking about? Yo, this is going to get crazy. Let's go.
It was a little wild to me, but let me know in the comments below what you think. Did this woman just offer a fair assessment or pure, unadulterated insanity?
Let me ask you, where would you put, or how would you categorize race relations between black and white people in the United States today?
I think from a media standpoint, division.
Right.
I think that's where we are. I think that there is division. I do. I think there's definitely some microaggressions and things like that that are apparent. But on my everyday interacting, I think it's an array of things. I think there's some positivity. There's some growth opportunities. I think I have within my circle. It's diverse.
Yeah.
And I love that it's diverse, but I also think that we're not having those conversations within my diverse community.
So when you say diverse, do you mean racially? Do you mean
Racially.
ideologically, politically?
Politically and racially.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have white, black, Republican, Democrat, and all in your circle of friends?
Yes, I have pretty much everything.
What would you say has kind of helped you? I think learning from different people helps you grow. What would you say has helped you grow more, having people of different races?
I just got to point this out. Bro, have you been sweating this whole... I guess it's because of this last interview. I'm not sure what... Streets of Texas. So it's probably hot in the mug. You been sweating because he got all the stains, bro.
Is in your circle of friends are people of different ideologies, people from different walks of life?
I think walks of life.
Yeah.
I think you learn more. I think because I can meet another African American person who's had a different upbringing than I do, and I'm learning what their struggle looks like versus my struggle because it's very different. I think it's really truly about being open.
Yeah.
Open to listening, open to learning, and having the conversations.
So you're saying that in your day-to-day, your experiences have been good, probably because of your circle of friends. Compared to the media, sounds like you're saying there is some division out there, but not so much in your circle of friends.
Not within my circle of friends because I choose them, right?
Right.
So this is my choice. It's my choose to have people in my circle that I don't have.
Yeah. Womanese here, speak, whatever. She creates her own echo chamber, right? You surround yourself with people who think like you do, who are on the same, page as you, politically, whatever. She's saying it's diverse, but it's an oxymoron. She's saying she's got a diverse group of friends, but she chooses them so, they all fall within the same category, right? It's weird. Like, how can you say that?
Have to fight with all the time, that we are open and we learn from one another. But I take a look at where we are in their schools. They go to private schools.
Okay.
So there's complete division with racial divide, seeing our black boys in the private school arena get in trouble where the white boys don't get in trouble for the same offense. I see that every day.
Why don't you just take them out of private schools?
Because
I gotta say, that's probably cap, yo. Like, straight up. I don't know what private school her kids are going to or whatever, but the black kids consistently get into trouble for the same offenses that white boys don't. Like, I come on, man, really.
Because at the end of the day, it's a better education.
Is it really though? Is it really if your kids are being treated completely different? Like, come on, there's a bunch of. There's going to be a bunch of bullshit here.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Because that's got to be tough then if you have to choose. Like, what kind of things
It
would they
is.
get into trouble for that white kids wouldn't? Like, what do you?
A fist fight. I brought it up last year. If you see two black kids in a fist fight, they'll probably get suspended. You see two white kids in a fist fight, which rarely happens in private school, then it's a pat on the back.
So hold on. So you see two black boys get into a fist fight, they getting suspended. But if you see two white boys get into a fist fight, which rarely happens, they don't get suspended. Make this shit make sense, yo. First of all, why are these black boys always getting into fist fights? What the hell is going on at home that they don't know how to conduct themselves in a school setting, right? Why they always getting into fights? Tell me that. And then why the white boys not getting into fights? Is it because the white boys, are raised differently? Is there something going on that allows them to not do this as often? And if it's not happening as often, maybe that's why they're not getting suspended. If I got to tell, boy Jamal 4 or 5 times, you can't be fighting. You go into detention, you go into here, you fight. Okay, now you're suspended. Right? If I got to tell him that over and over again and then finally suspend him versus little Johnny or whatever, Johnny he's never been into a fight. This happened one time, and I mean, I'm not going to suspend him right away, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, make this shit make sense. Can we start talking about apples and apples, not apples and oranges?
It's very, it
I don't
rarely
know if, I
happens.
can't tell if you're joking or if you're serious. Is it rare, like white kids get into a fight in a private school, or are you saying they get in just as many fights?
Exactly.
No, fight in general at private school is very rare.
Okay, in
Right.
general.
Yeah.
Whether
Not-
white
not-
or black.
Why is a fight in see, like, that shit don't make no sense, right? White boys getting into a fight in general is very rare. So why would they be getting suspended? You got to get some warnings first. But if black boys are getting into fights at school on a regular basis, right? And they going through the, okay, here's the warning, here's the warning, here's the warning. All right, now you're suspended. Like, these are two completely different things, right? And again, I'm just saying, if you got kids in private school, what are you doing at home? You should be raising your kids to, walk away, turn the other cheek. You don't need to be fighting all the time. Why are you even fighting? Is it over something dumb, right? Was he calling you names, or is it because your mom's got an OnlyFans and her picture showed up at school? I'm just saying, like, we could go all over the place about this shit. You know what I mean? So can we compare apples and apples? That's all I'm saying.
Black.
Rather, whatever race it is.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah. I was raised in Canada where we had a zero tolerance policy, so it didn't matter if you defended yourself or you started the fight, you were all suspended, which I think is morally reprehensible.
I think
I was suspended because I got punched in the face.
well, that's not good. No, because you were defending yourself.
Yeah, I didn't really. I mostly just turtled.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna need you to defend next time.
I'm gonna need you to defend next time, right? So this is the behavior, right? Like, so is that what you tell your kids, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. If they're getting beat up, then they should defend themselves. However, if they are legitimately getting beat up, I doubt they're going to get suspended for fighting. I mean, now they got cameras and stuff all up in the schools, right? Like, so they're going to know, oh, your kid, he wasn't doing shit and some dude just came up and started bullying on him. Which, by the way, we need to bring back bullying because y'all, man, there's a whole population of weak men out there right now.
I learned that later on. But see, at that
Right.
point, I was a little bitch is what
Right.
I was. I didn't know. I was afraid. The kid was 2 years older than me.
Oh, well, that's not good.
14 to 16.
Yeah,
it's
not
a
good.
huge difference. You're not going to do anything. You just turtle.
And just maturity, body, you're just the whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing.
The whole thing.
No,
Yeah.
it was a terrible experience.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good example. We weren't teaching kids that, hey, not all violence is equivalent. Like if someone attacks you, you're saying this as a mom, you would probably want your kids to defend themselves.
To defend. Yeah, of course I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's why.
But what does attack mean? Right? Your kid's just walking into school and some kid just hits him across the face with a baseball bat. Is that happening? No, probably not. Right? Maybe there's a little shit talk. Maybe there's, some banter and stuff. And then he just gets upset and he wants to fight. Because why? Because, we raising kids with thin ass skin nowadays, right? They can't take they can't take no shit talk. Toss it back. That's what, when I was a kid, mama jokes was at the pinnacle of our behavior, Your mama's so fat. When she sit around the house, she really sits around the house. Your mama's so black. When she get cut, she don't bleed. She just smoke. You know what I'm saying? Like, we used to, for days, we used to get on each other with that, man. And that shit thickens up your skin. It teaches you how to take a joke, not be so serious, to control your emotions. And that's the problem. We raise in generations of emotional ass people that don't know how to control it, right? And that's probably one of the main leading reasons why we have all these like crazy disasters, you know what I mean? Mass shootings, dude in Maine, you know what I mean? Like all this bullshit, because we don't teach kids nowadays to control their emotions, to be able to take it on the chin, you know what I mean? And then come back with more witty banter or whatever, right? Like, I mean, you can't avoid fights. I got into plenty of fights when I was a kid, but usually those fights were not just, it wasn't just something that came out of nowhere. Usually there, something built up to that, right? Bullying, shit talk, somebody took my shit, right? Had to get it back, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like that. It didn't just start with one word and then it's a fist fight, right? So, but nowadays, man, people are just, they're super emotional. They're ready to do it.
It says there's a legal defense
Yes.
for defending yourself.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
You mentioned microaggressions. So you're the first person today who's mentioned that.
Here we go. She college educated. Gotta be college educated. Women's studies. Microaggressions and all this is all bullshit. Maybe I'm wrong. Y'all can flame me in the comments if you want, but this is that part. This is where we get.
What do you mean by that?
Microaggressions meaning they say little things, they meaning non-people of color, will say little things not realizing that it's a microaggression, not realizing.
Do you not realize that just that right there is racist? That just that term, they say things like you people not of color, that's racist, right? That is a racist ass fucking term. Black folks, we do the most harm to each other, okay? That out of any other race. Hispanics don't be beating each other up. They don't be, messing with each other like that. Asians don't mess with each other like that. White folks don't really mess with each other like that. Black folks, we are terrible towards each other. And then you got people like this, right? Like it's all about feelings. Shit.
Realizing that it's hurtful, that it's racism, because it's so micro.
So, like, what would be an example of that?
My hair. Oh my God, can I touch your hair? Oh my God, is that real?
Hey, that's not racist. First of all, half of y'all ain't got real hair. Let's just stop the cap, okay? Half of y'all, half of y'all, black women, do not wear your own hair, okay? My daughter, okay, she's quote unquote mixed race, all right? But we both know, we all know both, like as if I'm talking to one person, right? We all know that when black men have babies, they have black babies. It don't matter who they have babies with or what color, whatever. Black men have black babies, period, right? But my daughter has beautiful, currently straight hair. It is way not your standard black American female hair. You know what I mean? If what the stereotype that you think of is short, nappy, you know what I mean? Real thick, real vibrant, you know what I mean? Like that, she does not have that kind of hair. When she gets older, maybe that will change. I'm hoping she gonna get some curls, but it don't really matter. You know what I mean? As long as she don't mess it up, dye it or fry it or any of that crap, you know what I'm saying? She gonna be good. But the point is that when people see things that they're not used to seeing, they might ask you about it. And quite frankly, if it's not your hair, or if your hair, if your hair is different than most black people hair, why would you take that as aggression in any form, micro or not, whatever? Why not, hey, I mean, like, that makes you special. You know what I mean? It's a compliment. It's like, whoa, is that your hair? Is that really yours? Like, is that natural? Is that how, you know what I'm saying? Because it's different, because you just look so much different. And it's not even different in a bad way. Shit, I'm black and I'm gonna ask you if that's your hair. Of course, because you know what I mean. Is that somehow racist because I'm asking you? I mean, I'm black, you black, and your shit don't look normal. Like, I want to know, is that you? Damn, how you do that? Like, you was born like that? Oh shit, why? You know what I mean? Like that. So why everything got? This is the thing now. I hate to talk shit, but like these lenses she got on right here, this is basically the filter of feelings. The feelings filter. Everything is somehow filtered through how does it make me feel? And if it doesn't make me feel good, then it must be bad, right? Which is just crazy, crazy, crazy.
Things of that nature, or we didn't do that. It's just, Carrington, you want to give me some microaggressions?
I love it because she this is what happens when you get caught in your bullshit and you're like, what does Zirko say? She's looping, man, she's looping, right? So she's gonna tag at her old girl over here. She's looping.
Like, your hair's not real. You speak so articulate.
well.
You speak so well, even though I'm just using basic English. Because they assume I'm going to be speaking using AAVE or African American vernacular or Ebonics, whatever you want to say it, put it as.
I'm gonna tell y'all, half of y'all are not speaking Ebonics, whatever that. I mean, like, I remember when I was a kid and they came up with that shit, right? And I was just like, this is just ignorant speech, man. This is just non-vernacular. These words are not in the dictionary. People just like to make shit up because they like to sound different, right? Black folks today, half of these people that I see on YouTube do not know how to speak English. Straight up. They use words wrong. They add extra syllables and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like they just kind of make it up, right? And then they'll say, oh, this is my heritage. Are you insane? It is not your heritage. You and all your family was born here. Like if you was raised in the South in Louisiana, maybe you got that Creole in you. Okay, that's a little weird, right? Or if you up north, you know what I mean? Maybe you got that. You got what do they call that? Shit, an accent. Sorry, damn, I just brain farted right there. Maybe you got an accent. You know what I mean? Like you from Brooklyn. Obviously, people from Brooklyn sound way different than people from like California or whatever. But the blatant use of terminology and words that are not being used correctly, they're not being said correctly. That is not an accent, right? That is ignorance. And people are so proud of it.
It's just things like that, but little things. I remember in 6th grade, somebody said my hair looked like spaghetti hair because I had twist, and I don't know what y'all, look it up.
It probably did. What do you think spaghetti looks like? I mean, you in school, kids don't have no goddamn filter. Like, we know this. My daughter says the craziest shit to people all the time. She ain't got no filter. She don't know what the hell she's saying. She just says what she sees. She sees things and says them back. Does that make her racist? Absolutely not. She's just identifying what she is taking in. Like,
Look up twist. I had like brown twisted, and they said the hair looked like burnt spaghetti, and that's a microaggression, right? You don't.
No, you just felt some kind of way because they said it was burnt spaghetti. It probably looked like burnt spaghetti. If you go burn some spaghetti in a pot, that's probably what the shit looks like. It's just a way to describe shit, right? Like, it's not everything is about you. Don't take it so serious.
Realize it, but it is hurtful in the long run. It makes you feel othered, and that's not okay.
You are othered.
When I was in high school, I had I had a horrible haircut, and it was cut very.
I bet this dude had a straight up mohawk, or he probably had what's the one? What they call it? Business in the front, party in the back, right? Oh man, I don't remember what that shit's called. It's gonna come to me later. But these are all, you know what I mean, like the Beavis and Butthead style stuff. I mean, like we all had it, you know, especially back then, right? If you was growing up in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, dudes was wild. Like the hairdos was wild, and nowadays they ain't no better. I see all kinds of craziness. I'm like, why do black women just press their hair so tight to their forehead with the little curls and stuff? It's like it's a cap, yo. It's like a hard plastic cap they be doing. I don't understand what that is. I don't get it. Is it racist to say that shit looks weird? I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know.
Short on the sides and tall, and I was told that I looked like a retard Patrick Dempsey.
That's cold.
So that wasn't so much a microaggression as
That's just aggression.
That's just aggression.
Right, yeah.
But my point is that happens to everybody. And my question is, I think maybe it comes down to, is that necessarily racist? Or if we just view it through the lens of, maybe this is something I'm uncomfortable with, but they're not meaning it to be racist, right? Racism would have to come with intent.
Racism does not have to be intentional.
Racism can be subtle for sure.
It can be subtle.
There's something called internalized racism because of how society just shows things.
These two women have internalized racism, and they don't even know it. All right. If you're going to talk about internalized racism, you guys have internalized racism. Everything you see in here is through the lens of racism, right? And you think that gives you the ability to speak about it and somehow makes you better. It doesn't. It doesn't. And what she said, you know what I mean? Like, whatever, let's keep it going.
Things off, right? A lot of women, a lot of girls, just look at Disney princesses. There's only one black Disney princess, and that's not.
That's because Disney's a white dude. And all these stories came from mainly white people. Most of the stories told in all of history were told and passed down by white people. Why? Because black folks, we've lost most of our fucking culture. Okay? You can't blame, just because, and it's incredible that everybody's always bitching and complaining. Oh, there's no Disney, there's no princesses that are black or this or that. Like, bruh, and I mean, so what? Make your own. If you're so butthurt about it, make your own. Why are you complaining that somebody else needs to do it? You know, that just doesn't make no sense to me. Tell black stories. I bet you these women don't know any black stories. They don't know any stories passed down through generations from, grandparents, great grandparents, you know what I mean? Whether it be stories of African kings and queens, or whether it be about, people of status in the United States coming up during slavery. I bet you they don't know any black stories, right? But they're so mad. They're so mad that there are no black stories being told by white people. Like, why would white people tell black stories? They not black, yo. You ain't telling white stories? Like, that's just, come on, man.
Crazy, but little girls look at their little princesses, right? And they look at all this array of like plenty of white women, right? And they aspire to be that a lot of the times. And I feel like little things like that, you're internalizing racism, even though it's not blatant racism. I think
You're internalizing racism. You can't name one black princess.
everyone thinks that racism is this like thing that people go out and hurt people with, but a lot of the time it's just like the way you think. You think white bodies and white people first, and don't necessarily think about people of color in your life, right?
You do.
It's more so a mindset than blatant, like hurting people. You know what I mean?
What would be, I guess, are you comfortable talking with your mom? Or?
Sure.
Okay, here, do you mind getting in to get, so I don't, because right now the camera's going to be going back and forth. It's going to be going
Oh, that's her mother. No wonder they both sound ridiculous.
back and forth like a Wes Anderson film. So you see, we're not trying to sandbag. What was your name, by the way?
She's so amazing.
Carrington.
Carrington?
This is what she does. She's so
Carrington
amazing.
She's so
And
Eddie,
amazing because this is what you have taught her to do. You let her go to school. You let her be brainwashed that everything is racist. It's all about her feelings. Everybody's against her. The whole world's against her, and that is what we develop now, right? Crazy.
Could you give me some examples maybe more examples of internalized racism? Because let me tell you where white people are nervous. Okay.
Okay.
This is where I think
Love to hear that.
So in other words, if you're talking about white people.
She said, I love to hear that. Like, you don't know. If you don't know, why are you guys even talking about this? You haven't even bothered to give a damn about what the other side feels. Again, black folks can be blatantly racist to white people, and it's like they don't even know. It's like the black folks don't even understand that they're being racist, right? This is what they're talking about. Internalized racism. Y'all got it towards white people. 100.
People being racist, right, toward you. And that's a legitimate concern. Of course, in some places, you're going to have individual racists. It's a different conversation from systemic racism, right, or internalized racism, but we all acknowledge that. I will tell you this. The reason that a lot of white people don't have these kinds of conversations like this is because they're afraid of being accused of being... No, they're afraid of being accused of being racist.
Yeah, white fragility.
Well, see, that is an attack to just say white fragility. What if someone... For example,
white fragility. Where do they come up with these terms, yo? The education system has completely failed.
Interviewed every single black man that we interviewed today. Every single one said, yeah, the Black Lives Matter thing got out of hand. All lives matter. Everyone's lives matter. And I don't think that was good for either community. Every single black man that we interviewed today.
And to be clear, the BLM thing was a whole fucking scam. And y'all know it. And it's crazy that they let that shit ride, man. Like, the whole damn thing.
And if I were to say that same thing, right, because I don't think the problem is just race.
Yeah.
And I think we do have a failed justice system, by the way. I think you'll miss it if you think it's just race. Well, we can't classify that as white fragility or a microaggression.
Okay, so let me define
I
white fragility.
disagree with every white man, every black man you spoke with today. But go ahead,
okay,
Carrington.
Right, but they're entitled to their opinion.
they are.
It surprised me that they said it.
So white fragility means that I think we're on the same page. You're just defining it as different. So white fragility means when white people are afraid to confront the fact that they might have racism or might have racist thoughts.
Boom, look at that. She just turned it around. All he said was white people tend to be afraid to have these conversations with black people because black people will turn around and call them racist just for having these conversations. That doesn't make them fucking fragile, okay? It's because everything with y'all, right, is racist. Everything, if a white person says anything to a black person, it's internalized racism, systemic racism, right? No, it's just a damn conversation. They're just trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And how the hell is anybody supposed to know what the hell is going on when y'all over here looping with this nonsense, man? It's not fragile to not want to talk about something because you know that the person on the other end is going to take the shit the wrong way because they're fucked up in their head, right? Like that's not fragile. That's just trying to avoid conflict out of nothing, right?
That's white fragility.
But what if they don't?
They don't. Literally almost everybody in America does because of the way America works.
Everybody in America is racist. Literally everybody in America is racist because of the way that America works. Everybody's racist. So remember that, folks. Everybody in America is fucking racist, according to this.
Even black people have racist thoughts towards black people, right? So it's kind of hard to get out of there unless you're like...
I'm sorry. I do not have no racist thoughts towards black or white people or any other people of color. I don't give a fuck. I don't understand why people say this shit right here. Like, I've been with white women, Asian women, Mexican women. like I'm down for whatever. And I love the cultures, all the different cultures. You step up into white people's houses, it's awesome, especially if they come from means and shit, because a lot of times they don't know what the fuck to do. You know what I mean? Like, it's hella funny, right? When you go over to a Mexican person's house, you know what I mean? Or Hispanic, Latino, whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean? You go over there, all the culture, like they brought that shit on their backs with them. Like, that is amazing. You know what I'm saying? Why is it that, man, I just don't understand. People like this are not pushing progress. Like, you're not. It's the opposite. You're like, okay, slavery happened 1 million years ago or whatever, and so because of that, that gives us the right to be fucking racist towards you guys. And you can't call it racist because it's internalized, white, systemic, blah blah blah. What the fuck?
Not from America, and even then, it's pretty difficult.
What do you know
so
about
literally,
that?
everyone has some form of racist thoughts. With white people, it's just easier because they're not black or they're not a person of color. They don't have the system around them necessarily to confront that because they don't.
How the fuck do you know? You ain't white. You ain't, like, you're just black, and you were raised obviously by a woman who feels this kind of way in a school indoctrinated to teach you that you're a fucking victim. Oh my God. And this is why I say everybody should join the military. 4 years, mandatory 4 years out of high school. Get them away from all this bullshit. Get them into something structured where it's a big fucking melting pot, right? Because when you are on the goddamn front lines, when you are out on the boat, when you are rocking in the damn desert, okay, nobody gives a fuck what color you are. Nobody cares. All right? They care, can you lift the goddamn pack? Are you going to fucking get me killed? Or are you going to be up there to save my life? And when it's done, you're brothers and sisters. Like, that's why we got to do this, because this shit right here is bananas, yo.
They don't have to, right? So it takes more work on their part, right? And there's nothing really necessarily, well, it's not great, but there's nothing wrong with working more harder to get to a certain point. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
I just want to be clear that I understand this. As a white guy, obviously.
I love it when
and
he
I
says
get it.
as a
Look, we're
white
from
guy.
different perspectives. You're defining something that you just said would require more
Steven, brother, you're pretty fly for a white guy. I'm just saying.
work, right?
Yeah.
It would be a form of racism that they may not know, that frankly is something that they were born with, white
Yeah.
fragility, through no fault of their own.
yeah,
What you just outlined
It's racist.
is racism.
right.
No,
I mean, no,
you're
you saying white
racist.
fragility, that would be racist toward, like, saying, yeah, you are blamed for something that you were born with. You have white fragility just
So
because you're
racism,
black.
no. Literally everybody has their own form of racial fragility. You know that,
Okay.
right?
So there.
Oh, now everybody has their own form of fragility, right? Like, go ahead, run it back, sister. Let's.
Is black fragility is a term that's taught. Two, Latino fragility.
I mean, everyone can be racist towards certain people, and when black people are called out for certain things in the black community that are not necessarily great for the black community, sometimes they'll get defensive, especially if it's not somebody coming from the black community, because one, that could be seen as like perceived hate because you never know who you're talking to, and also just because like white fragility is a complicated subject because a lot of people feel it, you know what I mean, and it does hurt people, their emotions, so it's really hard to just kind of break that down. And I feel like that's really the issue, is people are not willing to break that down. Having fragility is not a good thing, but most white people have it, so they have to work through it, you know what I mean? I think it's just because society puts this on other people. It's not necessarily like white people's fault, it's society's fault for putting that on white people, and that's a lot of things with like racism. Society puts things on black people, right? But I feel like
I think white people put it on themselves.
White
I don't
people-
think so. I think white people are
own-
society.
Well, yeah.
I think it's one and the same.
okay,
so I think
let me explain.
Does anybody? I mean, I'm just saying, all that shit was nonsense and pretty fucking racist. Like, I'm just saying, right? Like, how the fuck are you any better than who you proclaim to be talking about?
Our society is based off of white supremacy from a historical standpoint, right? From the Tulsa Massacre to slavery to literally like all our presidents except for one being black from the long period of time.
And you know what? I'm sorry. I hate when people use the word literally because they literally don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Like people always try to throw literally in there like it makes them smarter or something like that. Literally means like the definition of, right? Literally. Not, you can't just throw it in anywhere and it somehow makes your point more valid. Dumb.
Right, our society is based on the ideal of whiteness. From the nuclear household, 1-2 parent households, things like that. And black people can have 2-parent households.
That is bullshit because back in Jim Crow, black folks, we had some of the highest numbers of marriages. We had some of the highest percentage of married couples out of all races. Right, during racism, during the pinnacle of black racism, right, we were maintaining family structure. It wasn't until the government came in and said, you know what, ma'am, we'll give you a fucking check, but the guy's got to go. It wasn't until then that the nuclear family part of black families was disintegrated. Okay, nuclear families, all right, it's not a white thing. That's fucking retarded, man.
But that's not how our community has ever been based. Even from Africa, we have been based on a village style of living and working together. It takes a whole village to raise a child, and black people truly embody that, while white people tend to have more of a
What are you talking about? What is this chicken head talking about right here? I'm sorry, I shouldn't call it a chicken head. But she just cluck, like it's just a bunch of nonsense ideology that somebody's fed her, right? Woe is me, okay? The black family unit was strong back in the day, and it was some of the strongest families that existed during racism. Yes, coming from Africa or whatever, tribal shit. Yeah, we did have villages and tribes, okay, but that's because they lived out in the middle of fucking nowhere, right? They didn't have societal structure, okay? But that doesn't mean that we didn't have families. It just meant that families lived with other families and that we supported each other. Right? That it doesn't mean that we didn't. It's not like the men went off and just did their own fucking thing all the goddamn time. Like, that is not what it was.
Nuclear family, 2 parents and a few children, and they work together, right? There's nothing really wrong with the nuclear family, but it is like an embodiment of the American dream and whiteness, right? So
wow, the nuclear family is the embodiment of the American dream and whiteness. This girl is brainwashed, and you, ma'am, are the problem. Like, how are you letting her sit here and say that? She gonna end up a single mother. It's just like, what the fuck? What do you mean?
Because society's built on all of this whiteness and all of these standpoints that are made for white people, they're just more used to that, right? And they're not really used to thinking outside the box and thinking about people of color. And that's what I'm talking about. And when they're confronted at the fact that they don't think about people of color, you get white fragility because they're scared and they didn't want to realize that they. Let me rephrase this. They didn't.
Yeah, because she's looping. I mean, everything you just said was hella racist. Okay, you're not making any points. You're trying to regurgitate the shit that you were taught, but you didn't really fucking understand it, right? Because it don't make no fucking sense, right? It really doesn't. Look, black folks, the nuclear family is not a white supremacist movement. Okay, it's not part of white supremacy. Okay. The nuclear family is required to raise strong, formidable children who can be successful. You need 2 parents in the household.
Realize that they weren't thinking about people of color, or they were in the back of their mind and they get scared. Right?
Oh shit. If he had a billboard sign right here across his forehead right here in LEDs, that shit would say WTF. No cap, bro.
So it's not.
I hear agree, but I disagree with you because I think right now at this very moment, you saying that's racist is privilege, honey. That's
Also,
nothing but privilege.
No, I'm saying
it's
that,
white
no,
privilege.
Is privilege, honey, is that the most disrespectful shit you have ever heard in your fucking life? Who the fuck are you to call him honey on the street? And the fact that you think you're not privileged, that you can get away with saying that shit. What if he called you fucking sweetie? What if he said, look here, sweetheart. Okay. Look here, sugar tits. Right? Like, I mean, what the fuck?
I'm saying the idea.
To be able to say that.
Also, if you define
I'm not, so I shouldn't be
racism
able to say
from-
that. I mean, we haven't.
No, to be able to say it and to live in that, I think it's white
You're
privilege.
not making the right argument.
Okay.
The definition of racism is power behind discrimination. You can discriminate against.
Okay, hold on. Let's see here. I'm terrible at spelling. Let's see here. Racism? Racist. Oh, what just happened there? I'm looking all over the place. Racism. I can't fucking spell. Don't be mad at me. That's my that's my public school education right there. Okay. Let's see. Let's read this right here. Prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism by an individual, community, or institution against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular race, racial, or ethnic group, typically one that is a minority or marginalized. So what did she say? Define racism?
That's nothing but privilege.
No, I'm saying
it's
that,
white
no,
privilege.
I'm saying the idea.
To be able to say
So
that.
also, if you define
I'm not, so I shouldn't be
racism
able to say
from-
that. I mean, we haven't.
No, to be able to say it and to live in that, I think it's white
You're not
privilege.
making the right argument. The definition of racism is power behind discrimination. You can
I don't see the word power anywhere in here. Power behind racism. The definition of racism is power behind racism. Does that even make fucking sense? Where does this girl go to school?
discriminate against white people. Anyone can. But you can't necessarily be racist towards white people because racism comes from discrimination plus a place in society where you get to have power.
She legitimately believes this shit, y'all. That is the problem. I hear this shit all the time from black folks. That they legitimately believe that in order for you to be considered racist, you have to be coming from a position of power. Look, I know a ton of quote unquote white trash, KKK members, supremacists, right? These fools ain't got no power. They ain't got power over their own damn lives. Are you telling me they're not racist? That their speech, their behaviors, their mannerisms, the way they conduct themselves, the way they raise their kids, that's not racist because they're not in a position of power? Or is every white person somehow in a position of power? Because my neighbors are tweakers, man, and they sure as fuck ain't in a position of power. I don't know if they're really tweakers. Let me stop that. But you know what I'm saying? I look at them, I'm like, okay, these guys are definitely not in a position of power, right? And just because they're white, they're racist. Like, this is the problem with society today and black folks as a whole. We need to get our heads out of the sand and we need to start correcting our youth, and we need to pull them out of these indoctrination camps, right? Where they teach the woe is me and I'm a victim and all this shit. Okay. And we need to get back to the roots of it. All right. Because this is bananas. You can be blatantly racist towards white people and it's all good because you're not in a position of power somehow.
Right, that is the not clinical. If you look on Google, that's not necessarily what you're gonna get because Google dumbs things down, right? But if you look at like,
We agree there.
yeah, right. So if you look at like more like
Dictionary.
racial context, if you look at like Bell, oh my God, I forgot her name, Bell Hooks, and so many different racial scholars, that's the definition that is greatly agreed on in the academic space. So racism is discrimination plus power, essentially. So white people have more power than most people of color, all people of color in the United States, while some people of color don't have as much power. So punching up is not the same as punching down. Anybody can discriminate against anybody. That's just a fact. But racism is based on a system of power.
That is horse shit. That is 100% horseshit because Kanye West doesn't have no fucking power over the Jews. Okay. But his verbiage, a lot of shit he says is most definitely anti-Semitism. 100 fucking percent. Okay? So what the fuck are you talking about? Like, yo.
Now, I don't know if this would be white. Would you be open to the idea that some of those things maybe are incorrect, and someone may be white and say, "Hey, you're wrong about this historically," and that
Thank you, Stephen. Tell this fucking girl she's wrong.
not be
And you don't have to be rude about it. You're doing such a good job. Tell her she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about in a nice manner.
called white
Well,
privilege?
I mean, if you got the facts, I can't even, like,
Yeah.
if you have, like, facts and you have proof to, like, back it, there's no issues with that.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about...
the nuclear family. That's a big one. I don't know if you know this, but there were far more in the United States.
Yeah.
It's a far lower divorce
Boom.
rate for a very long
Boom.
period of time. At
Yeah.
the same time that black households had higher literacy
You know
rates.
why
Yes.
there's a lower divorce rate?
Yes.
There was a lower divorce rate for a very long time
You know
until it
why?
went.
Because women had to, because they didn't own credit cards. They couldn't get divorced. They couldn't live without a man. That's
Somebody told this, but like these are all the talking points. This is what happens when you go to these schools.
literally the reason why the divorce rate was so low.
No,
'cause of
I'm
women.
talking about before this, by the way, historically. We're talking
know,
about from the
I'm
inception
talking
of the
about-
country.
No, dummy. During Jim Crow, black men didn't have fucking credit cards either, silly. Okay? We didn't have shit either. Black men have never had shit. Okay? Black women and black men needed each other. Period. We knew that the only way to survive was together. All right? During Jim Crow, during the slave trade, during hangings in the South, okay? All we had was our fucking families. That's all we had. As black men, all we had was black women. Black women had black men. Black men stood in front of the fucking whips to protect black women and black children. That's what the fuck we did. That's family. Didn't have shit to do with a bank account or credit card. We didn't have that shit either. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm fired up with this nonsense, man. Race, y'all. I told y'all trigger warning about this shit, man. It's just this makes me fucking sick to see this, because all we're doing is we're just dialing it back. We're just taking whatever progress we fucking made and we're just dialing that shit.
Before the suffragette movement. So this would be the same thing that white women and black women would face, the issues you're talking about. So those same groups, black families were very strong, had low divorce rates, had large households. And a big part of it was because of the faith basis back then.
Hell
and it was
yes.
again, the community, right, the church,
Hell
would also
yes.
encourage strong households. I noticed, Eddie, you have a wedding ring.
Community thing.
Are you married?
Yes.
Yeah, my dad.
Okay, now let me ask you, why?
Why what?
Why you send your kids to private school, which is very commendable, right? You obviously care about your kids. You're married.
If I didn't, I would still care.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm financially able.
Right.
If she wasn't,
But
she
why
would
do you
still-
think
I
that
would
the
still
reason you
care.
choose to be married and have a nuclear household, did you make that decision because it was what you thought was best? Or do you think that's because of white supremacy, white fragility?
Well, there's things that are implicit, and also
Why are you fucking answering for your mother? Shut the fuck up. This is kids these days, man. Kids these fucking days. They like, why are you talking for a grown ass woman? You ain't fucking married. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, obviously. Let your mama answer. Why is she married? Because she knows that black women and black men are stronger when we are together. Black families are better. We raise better children when we are together. Okay, and it's not just blacks together, right? In general, the family is better when we're together, right? Why are you even talking? Let your mama answer.
like from my mom, it's just because she loves my dad. Our household's not that nuclear because we have so many people that support us outside of our house.
How do you like? It's just because she loves my dad. That's why they're together. Like, oh,
Like, it's not just all mom and dad. If I want to go to my uncle, he'll take care of me. You know what I mean? It's not really that nuclear.
My husband is fine,
Yeah.
and I love him. He's my man, and that's why.
That's a
thank God. Thank God, because if this dude's sitting at home watching this shit, that's what she needs to say. My husband is fine, and I love him. Boom.
That's a wonderful thing.
That's it.
Yeah. So it's not a byproduct of
For that one,
white supremacy,
well, the reason
white supremacy society. A
we
lot
don't
of
really
historically.
live in a nuclear household anyway in our home, so we
It's a
can't really
village
apply
that
it.
raised- it's a village.
We can't really apply that to us, anyways.
Everything she just said is total horseshit. And now it can't be applied to us because we are not that way. Y'all are damn retarded. This is what you pay in private school for, is retarded fucking students. Like,
Yeah, you can. Do you know how
I
many?
mean-
Do you know how many kids, white or black, go to private school? They don't have a mom and dad in the house.
Oh, like,
Statistically, none, whether you're white or black. It's very, very
it's
rare.
very difficult. Yeah, I
It
have
helps
plenty
with
of
two
friends.
parents who are still there. That's
Yeah,
a big. And I think that's, by the way, it's a huge blessing. I think what you just said about your husband, I would love to hear everyone say about their husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, she loves him very
Facts.
much.
Yeah, that's one thing actually when we talk about it, I think that a lot of white women probably could learn from is there's a lot of loyalty in the black community, a sense of community that often white people do not have.
Ooh. That part I gotta disagree with you on, because it used to be that way. It used to be that way until the government decided to come in and offer public assistance, but only if you got rid of the father. And once they started doing that, then this independent boss babe bullshit started coming about, and now so many black women don't need no man, and so many black women are raising black children on their own they're raising them to be adults that don't need each other, right? Like this is all an issue. This is all an issue. And if you look at our statistics now versus what they used to be, it reflects that shit. 100.
And you'll see it with men and women. You'll see it with them leaving pretty quickly. I think that's a beautiful thing, but I think that's a huge privilege for everybody, regardless of race. But historically, if someone and I don't even want to get into exactly where I would disagree historically as far as Africa, the idea of the nuclear family being white supremacy or Disney princesses.
Well,
but my question is, where can a white person, because we've had conversations all day, where can a white person disagree and say, yeah,
I mean,
that's not racism, or you know what, I don't agree with the idea of white fragility and them not be a racist.
okay.
Because I was just told that is privilege to even say I disagree with your opinion.
That's
No.
what you just
No,
said.
that's not necessarily what we're saying.
That's exactly what you
kind of
just
you
said.
said that. Anyways, but what I'm saying is, if you have
No, he did. You 100% just said that. You said that because he said, look, let me tell you where white people are scared. We're scared to have these conversations because just having these conversations, we're going to be met with, well, that's racist. And she said, well, no, that's your white fragility showing, which is a racist term, right? So let's bring that shit back. Come on, man. Stop the cap.
have the facts.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I was like, I didn't say
She tells me when I'm wrong
okay.
too.
Hopefully, if I'm
This thing,
trying to
if
be
you have the
and
facts and you
listen
have the
here.
backing, there's no issue with debating.
See, and this is the problem. Like, he's got to fucking tiptoe around eggshells and glassware just to be able to have this fucking conversation with these women, man. And to be honest, I am not going to sit here and listen to the rest of this. This is just my issue with the shit. Like, these women have said blatant racist shit about white people to a white person in this conversation, right? And apparently, and he's the only one who's fucking tiptoeing around this stuff, right? And can't really fucking say what's actually on his mind because he's afraid that they're going to get triggered, which is exactly what they're going to do, because everything that they have said right now, it has all been filtered through this racist lens. And that's my issue. Hey, you guys, check this out. Steven Crowder. They go on and it gets deeper. I'm just not gonna do it right now. I think it's crazy. Half this shit is bananas to me. I think it's ruining, absolutely destroying the black community and other communities too. Like, we need to stop being so damn butthurt. Stop acting like we so damn educated. They're not. Just because she went to school, she used a lot of big terms that she don't even fucking understand. She don't know the definition of. She starts looping because she can't make actual fucking sense of the arguments that she's trying to put out. And Crowder, my man, he's biting his lip, right? And the reason, and he's been doing this a lot. The reason why he's doing this is because he knows he can't actually say. He can't be blunt with them because they're going to automatically hit him with the, oh, that's racist, right? And it's not. Like, to just how can you not have a conversation with somebody about the things that fucking matter without getting triggered, right? Like, that's our problem. We get triggered on everything. We butt hurt. We need to bring back fucking shaming, stick people in the military, right? Melting pot, get them together, have them fight for a common something so they got some kind of dignity and some kind of feel some kind of self-worth, you know what I mean, towards where they live at and who they represent, right? And I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but this shit is crazy. Anyways, chill with Bill. Y'all check the rest of this out, man. It's long. Y'all don't need all my commentary over this nonsense, but definitely dig in, man. And if you got internalized racism or whatever the fuck, just turn the fucking volume down on that shit apparently, because ain't nobody trying to fucking hear that shit. All right, y'all. The Ill Bill. Peace.